Minister Jeff Radebe, our Minister of Energy, mayors of African capital cities and other African cities that are here today, representatives of our esteemed global local government associations, that's UCLG, Cllr, and C40 cities, climate leadership groups, a membership of the Cllr Regional Executive Committee that are here, Your Excellency Dean Mpofu that is sitting here with us, Mpoku that is sitting here with us, ambassadors from all over the world, those especially those that are coming across the African continent, representatives of the private sector, research community and civil society, member of the mayoral committees that are here, fellow councillors that are here, top officials of the city of Tshwane, and those that are coming from all over the continent. I've seen Dr. Kong as well, is sitting somewhere in the back. There you go. A word of welcome to Dr. Kong and the team as well, and all other officials that are here, but most importantly, to the continent of Africa, I say good morning. Today represents the fourth installment of the African Capital Cities Sustainability Forum, a continental platform that provides us all with a shared interest or an opportunity of shared interest in a prosperous, sustainable, and resilient continent. The space to grapple with our common challenge and possibly most importantly, to recognize our common opportunities. We are here today to share each other's experience and successes, to stand on each other's shoulders, and ultimately to achieve the joint objectives of bolstering the resilience of our urban communities and to develop our local economies as we transition to a cleaner, better, more people-centric, low-carbon cities that we are all passionate about. All of you that I said something and I'm going to repeat it again. Africa is not begging anymore. Africa is ready to do it for itself. I must thank my fellow mayors and city leaders present here today for their continued endorsement and support for this meeting with their presence. I'm happy to report that we have, as the city manager said, we have a record 35 African cities. That is more than half of the African cities that are here today. That means that 63%, if I'm not mistaken, of Africa is actually in these four walls here today. And we are happy that we continue to grow. And yes, I want to welcome all of you, where we will share our combined thoughts and passion, and also a way forward as we ensure that our capital cities and African cities become the drivers of the economy, become the drivers of a sustainable future for the continent of Africa. And in unpacking the role of the cities, we need to also scrutinize the role of its leaders. Well-governed cities rely heavily on decisive executive leadership, guided by a clear vision, anchored by a strong code, and driven to fight for enhancement of the living conditions through the delivery of sustainable municipal services to our people. This past weekend, the city of Tshwane mobilized communities and the private sector to rally together to clean our environment, an exercise that will be undertaken on a regular basis. Much of the inspiration for nurturing this active citizenry was drawn from Kigali, a city that has shown a zero tolerance for polluting communal spaces. And it's through this forum that we are also able to learn about the great initiatives being undertaken by African cities. Today will be another occasion where 35 cities will share their insights with each other, and I'm also pleased to see some newcomers to this event that are here, such as Tripoli and Luanda that have joined us. A very welcome to all of you. Today is also an opportunity for introspection. As the forum coincided with the World Environment Day, the theme of today is beat plastic pollution. While we may inspire to modern environments that sports green buildings and low emission vehicles, the reality is that our urban environment are heavily populated. Our water is contaminated and in some cities unsafe to drink. Our air is polluted through heavy industry and aging vehicles that worsen the emissions because of traffic congestion. And our soil is polluted because we fail to dispose of all forms of waste responsibly. We are caught in a vicious cycle. We need to do something. For example, because we do not trust our water supplies, we rely on bottled water, and when we are unable to dispose of the plastic bottles in a safe way, they pollute our environment. According to the United Nations, around the world, 1 million plastic drinking bottles are purchased every minute. Every year, we use up to 5 trillion disposable plastic bags. In total, 50% of the plastic we use is used only once. Every year, up to 13 million tons of plastic leak into our oceans, where it soothes coral reefs and threatens vulnerable marine wildlife. The plastic that ends up in the ocean can circle the earth 4 times in a single year, and it can take up to 1,000 years for it to fully degenerate. Right here at home, the staggering levels of litter in our streets every morning is a testimony of the scale of the challenge. And I know from our past discussions at the forum that many of you are facing same challenges. I met last year with the mayor of Monrovia, and she was saying, well, your city looks clean. We're hoping that we'll be able to partner with yourselves as we embark on this journey to make sure that ours become a city as well that is clean. And those are some of the things that we have to be discussing as we're building sustainable cities of the future in an African context. And I want to stress that in an African context. We cannot be going to Europe every time or going to developed countries and then come back and think that you can automatically replicate what you have seen there. Africa has to come up with African solutions for African problems. The hashtag Beat the Plastic Pollution is a call of action to save our environment from the humankind's unrelenting pollution of every environment we are dependent on for our survival. As a cadre of responsible leaders who have pledged to fortify the cities we have been entrusted to govern, let us make every effort possible to leave the environment in a better condition than we found it. So as we galvanize our communities to keep our immediate environment clean and tidy, let us also ensure that our administrations have provided the supporting infrastructure to recycle waste and dispose of it safely in a responsible manner, which, if it's done properly, can be an economy on its own. And this is where the solutions begin to offer opportunities, as I said. For example, in tackling plastics in this city, we have forged public-private participation or partnerships to access the capital required to put in place a material recovery system that includes retrieving materials from households and businesses, sorting these materials to make these accessible to the private sector, and creating hundreds of jobs and income to drive the local economy. On a more personal and individual note, I care for the environment in a real term, synonymous with the care of oneself. A tobacco-free Tshwane is an emerging vision of my administration that is linked to a self-care and respect for those with whom we share common spaces. The city of Tshwane has a policy that prohibits smoking in any of our facilities and also in several meters away from the entrances of our buildings. At a national level, the smoking legislation is getting even stricter, with a call for the complete prohibition of smoking in all public spaces. While this may seem draconian, we identified with the intent of the National Minister of Health as we are dealing with the impact of rampant drug addiction. Sadly, research shows that there is a correlation between smoking at a young age and the later experimentation with drugs that are far more addictive and dangerous than tobacco. As a result, with a very youthful population, or as a city with a very youthful population, responsible leadership includes reaching out to the youth and warning them about the dangers of smoking and about the importance of making positive life choices. I therefore maintain we cannot promote care of the environment without promoting care of oneself. Thus, as a part of an African Capital City Sustainability Forum and the Youth Month, our Health Department will introduce the tobacco-free generation concept to our stakeholders. This is a social movement pioneered by the medical profession and volunteers who seek to connect with youth in schools to educate and encourage them to be part of the tobacco-free generation and not to fall prey of being replacement smokers for the tobacco industry. As I said, we thank Dr. Kong, the founder of this movement, for traveling all the way from Singapore to assist us with this process and for sharing his expertise with our stakeholders. As I have intimated, Tshwane is a youthful city, and from what I gather, many cities in Africa, especially those who are experiencing high rate of in-migration, have a similar profile. The youth are special, and I'm not just saying this because it is Youth Month in South Africa. The millennials see the world differently. They are optimistic, they are energized, and they seek solutions they see solutions to problems that elude us. Since they are techno-savvy, they know how to apply available technologies to the challenges that we experience on a daily basis. Again, as responsible leaders, we need to nurture this enthusiasm and channel the energies to yield constructive outputs. The youth need to lead the innovation space so as to key in aspects of this forum. We all are running a youth innovation challenge. I'm sure some of you who have been here a year or two ago have seen the innovation challenge or the hub that we run here. And we want to invite you as well to go and pass through there, see some of the things that are being done by our young people, ask them questions, interact with them, see what solutions are there that we can take to the rest of the continent. The process of developing and implementing solutions in partnership with the private sector is a fundamental to our premise that is seeking also to solve our problems, and as we should in a global space that we are actually competing in or working in. This, combined with the local knowledge and passion, will support us to gain access to the investment we need to drive our cities forward and enhance the lives of our residents. Last but not least, I would like to thank the key sponsors as well, who have come on board to assist us with running a successful event one more time. I would like to thank the following as we conclude: Nissan, Conlog, Unido, and Brand SA. Would like to also thank Ford, who have come on board to make sure that this does indeed become a successful event. Thank you for each of you for recognizing the value of this forum. We need your help to take this event forward and continue to engage and to collaborate as we build an Africa we will one day be proud to hand over to the next generation. I thank each one of you for joining this city today in celebrating and in advancing the role of African capital cities and other cities in igniting excellence across the continent. Let this indeed be a fruitful engagement for this week, and let this be another stepping stone as we say, as Africans, we are not begging. We are here looking for partners, and if you want to partner with us in an African way. Thank you very much.